Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. Hello, everyone. This is Tosin. I'm your host for I Love My HBCU ? And because I just say everything, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I am by myself today, and Chazriq and I have had a good old time laughing at me because I barely know what I'm doing.
You're doing amazing. Okay.
Chazriq, whether you know, it's Chazriq Clarke. That is his official name. But I will now officially just switch over to Chaz.
We love Chaz, yes.
Because he loves Chaz. Before I go into telling the whole world that you and I are siblings and we did not know it, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Greetings. I am Chazriq Chazam Clarke. I'm a two-time graduate from Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, where I graduated with a bachelor's in theater performing arts and a bachelor's in business administration. And I'm the CEO and founder of Chazam Fans LLC.
And the fan.
I love that.
And the fan. Oh my gosh. So the reason why, and I'm coming back to the fans because I need you to show the world more than just the FAMU fan. I mean, yay FAMU, but we need to see a few others, okay? But have you ever, and this is for the whole world, because whether Chaz likes it or not, I've reeled him into this space, this love space that I have. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody and they just brighten your entire mood and your entire space? That's been Chaz for me. And so Chaz, you are probably going to be tired of me, like, oh my gosh, here she comes again. But we are kind of tied for a long time after this podcast because your energy just gives love and your energy just gives Tosin, take a deep breath. And anyone who knows me knows I need that. So I appreciate you. I really, really do.
Of course, my pleasure.
Now, okay, so I like to see more fans. He showed me the pretty girl fan not too long ago.
Yeah.
So all of my sorors out there, I don't normally broadcast that I'm an AKA, but more than a few people know that I'm an AKA. I need as many of my sorors to get their hands on that gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And yes, he's got the Chazam fan for almost anything you can think of. But listen, I like the pink and green fan the most. Wow. Wait. We got countries represented? Are you kidding me right now?
Yes, we do have countries represented, and we're from Haiti, Bahamas, obviously America. We only have 10 countries so far, but we do want to expand to at least 100 before the year's over. The thing. I just love
my silent. Can I tell you why I got silent? My silence. Anyone who sees me profusely sweating, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I will. I'm not perimenopausal yet. Most people who see me and they see this, like I just came out of the shower. I'm actually not perimenopausal yet. I do have, unfortunately, a medical condition that has plagued me now for the last, it's going on almost 15 years. That won't leave me alone. And so when you see me dabbing and fanning, it's born out of, it is just profuse and we can't ignore it. But my pause when Chaz showed the fan is this, because you're like, why are you telling us about your medical condition?
We appreciate the transparency. I love it.
My pause Thank you. Thank you. My pause is born out of my heart got warm when I heard you say, oh, yes, we've got the countries represented too. And I said, wow, Tosin, how ingenious that something so simple yet so practical that he's literally put a business model behind that people are now going to actually also start relating and connecting with. And it's you're going to be like, Tosin, you're saying all of this over a fan? Yes, I am saying all of this over a fan. You go to church, you're going to need a fan. There's a reason why, no offense, at our funerals, I call it the funeral fan. I'd rather be walking in with the Shazam fan, okay? You go to a festival, I would rather be walking in with the Shazam fan. And he hasn't paid me. Let me be very, very clear. He has not paid me to say any of these things that I'm saying. I just, because of the condition that I have, I typically have to have a fan or something to cool me down almost everywhere. And I'm sorry, this looks a whole lot classier to me than me having to find one of those electronic ones, press the button, do this.
And then it dies. Yeah.
And then it dies. Then it dies, Chaz.
That's always the worst part for me.
Chaz, I'm going to stop talking. And now it's dead. Chaz is probably saying, Tosin, you brought me on this podcast and you have spent the first 6 minutes just talking as opposed to engaging me in conversation. But what he's come up with means a lot to me. And maybe that's why I have usurped the first half of this. But we want to talk about Chaz.
I appreciate you sharing, because I feel like that's really what our goal is with Shazam Fans, to just empower people to, represent their pride, show their culture, all of that. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to get a few once the Morgan State University fan comes out, if it's not out yet. Listen, Tosin Oluwatosin Adigbola. My full name, I said it intentionally. It's Nigerian. When the green and white comes out, I will be getting a green and white fan as well.
You'll be the first to know. The first, yes.
And listen, Chaz, I don't know if you've met enough Nigerians. I don't care where we live. I don't care where we were born. Because I was born in Nigeria, but I was raised pretty much everywhere else. We rep Nigeria hard.
I love that.
So I don't know if Nigeria was planned to be within the 100 by the end of the year, but I think it should be.
I think so too.
Nice. I think it should be. So, Chaz, listen, before we just continue our lovely conversation, I want to treat you with a rapid fire segment where I'm going to ask you as many questions in 67 seconds. We all know I don't keep time well, so let's hope it's 67 seconds.
Yes, that's the goal. And I'll do my best.
Oh my gosh, Okay, it's not a quiz. It's not a quiz, I promise. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Chaz, describe your HBCU experience in one word.
Sensational.
Sensational? I believe you. I absolutely believe you. Chaz, if your time in college was a song, what song would it be?
Swag and surf. Definitely.
Of course. That's easy. That's easy. I want you to give me another one.
Part of me wants to say, like, not even Party in the USA, but just fun. Something fun. I'm trying to think of a fun song.
Something fun.
Yes.
That's you. That's your energy. That's your energy. Ooh. What would you have wanted to tell your college roommate, but you didn't?
That's a great one. Um, I think my first roommate while I was in summer school. This was a different roommate. I think what I wanted to tell him was, believe me the first time. I think that's what I would have shared with him. Yeah.
I'm coming back to that once we start talking. Believe me the first time. There's a story there, and I want to know the story. I want to know the story. Okay. My timer tells me I've got 10 more seconds, but I'm sure somebody's like, Chosen, no, you don't. On a scale of 1 through 10, what kind of student were you?
I would say an 8 if I'm honest. An 8.
I like that. 8. Listen, 8 is good. 8 is good. Shout out your favorite. This is the last question in the rapid fire. Shout out your favorite professor or person at FAMU, and what did they either teach or what do they do?
I would say Miss Anidra Small. She was my theater professor. And I'd say she told me a lot of things, but the biggest thing that she did overall was push me into my potential. And I needed that. I really needed that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, all right, that's it. That's the rapid fire. See, you did well. You did nice. See, that was easy. I gave you easy ones. That was easy.
I was a little nervous at the song. I said, let me go between my songs. I said I had to go through.
And okay, so that was me being unfair because to be honest, now that I know you a little bit and the kind of energy you have, swag and surf is a fair one for you. It's just that a lot of people pick that one, and so I wanted something different. That's all. I just wanted something different.
A better song will probably come to me at the end.
It will. And if you remember it, tell us too, because I want to know. Chaz, we are entering the phase, and this generation, if you will, whereby some are questioning whether or not they're going to go to college. Some are not as aware of HBCUs as you might think they are, or as you might think they should be, especially if they're Black. I would love to hear how you selected FAMU, and you loved it the first time. You went back for more, which is beautiful. So I'm curious, what is your college selection journey? How did you even decide on Florida A&M University the first time around?
It's so funny because it wasn't the first time around, and I feel so bad, but I have to be honest. And it's funny because throughout high school, I think, like many people, I didn't know much about HBCUs, and I honestly wasn't even thinking too much about college because I was just hearing about the financial strain, and I was like, I'm not going to put my parents in a situation where they're, having all of this debt because of my education. Like, I'll figure something out. So
Absolutely.
I remember I, did all the tests and things like that, and I remember graduation was coming around, and I had applied to schools, but I was like, if they don't give me a full ride, I'm not going. I'm perfectly fine. I'll figure it out. And I submitted an application to Howard, Morehouse, FAMU, of course, and FAMU was on the bottom of my list, if I'm honest. But literally, Howard only gave me half of a full ride. Morehouse gave me about like a 90% full ride. But FAMU was the only school that gave me a 100% full ride. And I said, you know what? FAMU is choosing me, and I need to choose it back. And ever since I felt like I'm indebted to FAMU. Going there, I'm like, I have to recruit people. I have to do any organization I can. I have to serve in any capacity because I think FAMU just gave me so much, and I have to pay it forward. Have to.
So everybody's got a different college selection journey. I'm going to do a count sometime soon, but most of the college selection journeys that I hear of, in all fairness, were inspired by the affordability of the college. Wow. How am I going to finance my time at the college? That I must take this moment, public service announcement, if you will, that for those who say they want to see young Black people or young people, but this is I love my HBCU ? And most of the people that go to HBCUs are Black. So I'm going to say young Black people succeed One of the quickest and easiest ways to do that is make sure they're not leaving college in debt. Make sure that you are actually assisting them to financially afford this thing that you've told them for so long that they need in their lives. Right. PSA, because I keep hearing it and it matters. You are better set up when you graduate, when you're not thinking of, all right, Salome or Fannie Mac or whoever these people are with these very interesting names, I need to start paying you back. So good on you, because I hear that a lot, that's what drives the college selection journey. And then you went to FAMU and you never looked back, because FAMU has been so good to you.
So good, so good. I can't even tell it all. And it's funny because for me, I didn't even leave the university. I had started off as a business student. And just throughout the process, I was like, I was going to theater shows and I was just seeing theater. And I was like, I want to major in theater. And because I was on a full ride, they said I couldn't change my major. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'll just have 2 majors. So being in school and, taking almost 20 credit hours each semester, like, it was a lot, but I'm really glad I had that experience. So I graduated both degrees. So
that's how you came out with the 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You are what I call a recent enough graduate. You've been out of, you got your undergraduate degree about a year or so ago, maybe 2 at most.
About 2 years ago, yes.
2 years ago, and you have now moved. For those who don't know, you are in your own space for Chazam Fans. Let's be very clear. And everything is being set up in real time. So if you hear the noise behind him, it's because things are happening in real time for Chazam Fans. Take us through the journey, if you don't mind, Chaz. Why fans? Number 1. And then number 2, what has the journey been like? Because I know that there's several students now who are looking to graduate soon and they don't know what they want to do, but they might have a little entrepreneurial fire within their soul. If you don't mind sharing, again, why fans? I mean, selfishly, thank you, but why fans? And what's the journey been like?
That's definitely a loaded question, but I appreciate you asking that. So number 1, for me, why fans? Number 1, I hate sweating. So when you were sharing your story, I 100% could relate to it, because when I was younger, I'd probably be the only one sweating in certain spaces. And I'm like, is it just me or is it hot in here? Literally. So I think when I got to FAM and I had went on like an excursion somewhere, I think Busch Gardens for the summer, and I was walking past a gift shop and there was a large fan that said Busch Gardens on it. And I was just like, I wasn't going to stop at this shop until I saw that fan. And I was just like, I bought it. I will say that I bought it. So that was my first fan that I had that was just for me. And I would walk around everywhere while I was at FAMU with it. So it was colorful, it was rainbow. And I was like, this does not go with any of my outfits. But I knew I didn't want to sweat. So I was like, I'll walk around with this and not sweat if I have to. And when I graduated, I remember telling my friend, I was like, I'm gonna do fans, like fans for us, because I feel like a lot of times we have all these different products for everyone else, or other people selling it to us, and I'm like, I want to make something that's for us by us, essentially. So incorporating D9, incorporating different countries and cultures, I was like, that was like a further vision. But I think just knowing we have to do fans, at least for FAMU, and then how it grew to other HBCUs, I knew that was going to be definitely the vision. And I know your second question you said was
amazing.
The process.
The journey.
Journey.
Yes, tell us what the journey has been like for you. Because again, you've only been out of school for 2 years, and Chazam Fans are becoming a thing that if you haven't heard about them yet, you're going to hear more about them. You're going to. He's got an ambassador program at different HBCUs. The goal is to have ambassadors at every single HBCU, not just talking about these fans, but having a representation of what they are at each one of these HBCUs. So I asked you a question and here I go talking. Tosin, be quiet. Chaz, please go ahead.
I love it, Tosin. So for the journey for me, like as soon as I graduated, I actually had the opportunity to be in the DMV area for a while. So I worked at Capital One, and that was the greatest way for me to kind of learn hands-on like how a business works. So financially, management wise, all those
Yeah.
things, and organization. So, being there, it was a great experience, but I soon realized, I'm not feeling fulfilled here. Like it's a great learning opportunity, and I feel like by the time it was
Mm-hmm.
coming around for me to leave, I was like, I feel like I'm leaving learning everything that I can learn from this opportunity. But I knew that I have to really take this fan thing further, because I think at the time I was just like, I'll just do FAMU
Mm.
and I'll balance working at Capital One. But it came to a point where it was like people were like, hey, are you going to make this HBCU? Are you going to come to this homecoming? And I'm like, I don't have unlimited PTO. I don't. So, just being on the journey of realizing I have to leave my 9 to 5 and, pursue this full time. It was a hard decision to make, but I'm really glad that I made it and that I'm
Wow.
still making it, because every day it's like a decision of, do I want to get a 9 to 5 and push this to the side again? Or am I going to like really push through, and, get the Chazam fans word out there?
I see. Let's manifest together, Chaz, okay?
Come on.
I actually do see this. I see Shazam fans in every bookstore at an HBCU. I really do.
Talk about it.
I see myself walking into MSU bookstores. We have umbrellas. We have all these things. I see Shazam fans in our bookstores. So and I'm not pushing. But
Push.
I think that would be amazing. He said push. He said push. That's what I see. And for me, it ties ever so seamlessly into the Busch Gardens story that you mentioned, where you're walking by and someone's walking by our bookstore and they see one of the Shazam fans there. I see that. And listen, I'm fully aware. Let me be very clear that there are going to be a bunch of people, even like my parents, who are going to be watching this and say, Tosin, you do realize that you're going nuts over a fan. Like that you're literally going nuts over a fan. I'm fully, let's be clear, I'm fully aware that that's exactly what's happening here. And I have total appreciation for that being the case. I really do. And I'm grateful that there is a Chazriq Clarke, Chaz, who indulges, that allows somebody like me to go crazy. Because if you had not created this product, all I have to do is to talk about, I mean, I like this fan, but okay, enough said. So, Tosin, so Chaz, we have had the honor to speak to, listen, FAMU doesn't play. FAMU students don't play. FAMU alumni don't play. FAMU students don't play. So he's like, they don't. The FAMU greats, I love it.
All of them.
There is a love. I see. There is a love that you guys have for FAMU. It's a bit cultish, like slightly cultish. Slightly cultish, at least from the ones that I have had the honor of talking to. The love is, and I love it. This is not me critiquing. I love that with all of the challenges, because we all have them at all of our HBCUs, and with all of the problems, when you ask a student or an alum from FAMU to talk about their university, it's like a green and orange glow just comes and washes over them as they start to talk. What is it for you, Chaz, that made FAMU so great, and that you know that FAMU does right by its students all the time? Like what is the one thing that you know, guys, we just get this right all the time. What was that for you?
So it's probably cliche, but the motto of FAMU is excellence with caring. And I know every HBCU has a different motto, but I think FAMU does a great job of embodying that. Like through the professors, through even
Hmm.
people who work in our different cafeteria settings, like obviously, they're just handing us food, but it's the smile, it's the service, it's the, getting to know you. There was one one person who worked at the caf, and they used to call me chicken legs. And even though it was a little joke because I'm a little skinny, it was something that I loved because it was like you're my auntie that I know every time I'm coming here. I'm looking forward to you calling me chicken legs. So just that excellence with caring, building that community, having that pride. It was everything. I feel like FAMU changed my life personally. So that's what it was for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Um, this is a good one for you, especially the journey that you've had. Um, what did college mean to you?
Mm,
And
that's a
here's
loaded
here's
one.
here's when I as you think about, it's a loaded question, totally loaded question. And the reason why I'm asking you that question is listening to your journey. You ended up with theater and right, which means that there's several different talents that live within you. And not only do those talents live within you, you recognize them, and clearly, given the opportunity, you're going to nurture them to the best of your ability. And so, sure, we are hearing about Shazam fans today. The reality is that we truly may actually see you on Broadway someday at the rate that you're going, right? And so when we run into people like that, there's also that underlying thought, well, they didn't need the college degree.
Mm.
So when I ask, what did college mean to you? I'm asking based on that perspective.
So, thank you. I love that you gave me the full picture of that because now that you say that, it's really a broad perspective to give. Personally, for me, like you said, I think FAMU helped me first of all notice my gifts because I think I'm from Florida, so I feel like everyone from this area, we live here. No one really talks about gifts and just opportunities or talents, especially when it comes to Broadway or anything theatrical. Like the most that I had seen while in college or high school
Yeah.
rather was I went to we had like a performing arts center and I saw The Color Purple on Broadway at 17. So that was the
Okay.
first Broadway anything I had seen. So I think coming to college really
Yeah.
opened my eyes, opened my perspective of what I could be, of what's out there in the world. And like you said, like reflecting back to me
Nice.
the gifts that I have and showing me how to nurture it. Because like I said before, FAMU, I was like, I'm probably just gonna, go work at Publix, McDonald's, places like that, and just figure it out from there. But FAMU taught me, no, you can start your own business and you can do all these things. And I love that you even brought up theater and Broadway because the goal, well, right now I'm writing a musical about HBCUs and it's a very long process. So I'm like, I don't know when it will be done. I don't know when it will be done. But I want to say we're like 35, 45% there. So I'm just like, that's one of my biggest projects because I feel like people hear about, HBCUs through a lot of different things, but I feel like theater and Broadway, that's a space that I feel like we need to get into. People who go to Broadway can learn about
Wow.
HBCUs on a stage rather than from what they see on social media and in the news. And a lot of times it's not good things that you hear about HBCUs for. So I want to just showcase the best of any HBCU and every HBCU.
So, Chaz, number one, I'm proud of myself for asking you that question.
You did that. You definitely did that.
I've never I've never asked anyone on the podcast that question before. So I'm really proud of myself for asking that question, and I love the approach that you took to answering it. And okay, this is what excited me as I was listening to you. I hope that there will be enough. I'm, I'm thinking of, so we have open house and explore campus day, explore Morgan Day at my university. I'm sure several other universities have something similar. It's when, you invite prospects to come in and blah, 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 blah. And of course, there's several different organizations that it is their job to do campus tours and bring students from different parts of the country to our different HBCUs to see what is. And I because of my role at my university, I typically get to speak with the students, and I can tell that there's some students in the room who don't want to be there. And the reason why they don't want to be there is because, and I've asked them, some of them are like, nah, college is not for me, right? And when I asked you the question, what did college mean to you? I did not know how you were going to answer it, because, hey, it's your answer. And the fact that you answered it in a way that even I now have something better to say to those students that show up at our different open houses. Because I don't believe everybody needs a college degree. I really don't. But to reflect your answer, many, if not all of us, need a space and a community wherein we get to showcase at least the foundation, at least the beginnings of what we can be. You literally said that FAMU was the first place to reflect for you what your talents were. And there are too many of us that walk through life not really knowing what our talents were because we did not have a space to help A, reveal it, B, sharpen it, and C, challenge us to go forward with it. Not once have we talked about a degree. We have not talked about the paper. We've talked about the experience that one must be open to when they go to college. So thank you for your answer.
Great question. Loved it.
Now to this play, man, you know this, everybody watching this knows this. There are enough scripted shows. There are enough, I shouldn't say enough, there are scripted movies that exist that have tried to capture what HBCUs are like. I know I'm going to be one of those first in line to buy a ticket when you write that play, because a play brings things to life in a slightly different way, actually totally different way, than a movie or a series does. And I don't know if one has ever been done that gives us the perspective of I can't wait. I cannot wait. That is a brilliant idea.
Thank you. And it's crazy because I think I got this idea closer to my graduation. Like our theater program, our final project was to put together like a 5, 10, 25-year plan of what our, life would be. And I'm like working on everything. And I'm like, I really want to do a musical about HBCUs. And I had put it on my vision board. And I know my classmates were probably looking like, Chaz, this is a lot. Like you have a lot on your vision board. But this musical, if you need us, we're here. And I feel like the fact that I went to an HBCU, I have already the connections, people in my mind where I'm like, if I call them to play a role or sing a part, I know they're there in the drop of a dime. So I love that I have that experience.
So listen, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And for as long as I still have a platform, it may not be this exact same platform. It might be another platform. We're going to have to do this again to talk about it when it comes out, because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. And listen, we've memorialized it on here. So you can't tell me, oh, you know how when people blow up and they get really important, and then all of a sudden, well, how does she spell her name again? I don't really know if I know that person. You can't do that, Chaz. There we go. I will literally pull up the fan and say, excuse me. Okay. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Those are brilliant ideas that I'm glad nobody else has thought about it, because if they had thought about it, it wouldn't be there ready for you to do. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to when you actually make this happen. Listen,
Thank you so much.
I asked you to brag on your time and your experience at FAMU. Part of my question mark is always to get us to do better at each one of our HBCUs. So I'm going to ask you the flip side of the question, Chaz. I have to.
Okay.
FAMU gets so many things right. What does FAMU get wrong that you wish FAMU did differently?
Ooh, that's not even a loaded question. That's a triggering question. Okay.
Triggering, Father Lord.
And like you said, every HBCU has their things, whether it's financial aid or all these different things. But I think for me, a lot of times I think it's the culture that the students bring every year, because I think when it comes to things with the faculty and things like that, like, they're here to serve us. But I think as students, like, especially after COVID, that was the scariest time for me at FAMU, because people weren't excited about games anymore. People were pretty much inside, and I understood that. But I think when COVID was over, there was a different sense of Rattler pride going around. Like, people weren't going to Set Friday, which is like our weekly events or meetings that we would have. So I think for me, it's just, I think when people come to FAMU, it's not to, yes, we all have to lean on FAMU to an extent, but I feel like we also have to push up and, kind of give that push on our end. Like, we can't just lean on it, we got to push it as well.
So, Chaz, when I ask this question often, my team, who's left me alone to do this by myself today, I'm calling them out. But my team gets a little nervous each and every time. And I don't. Because my team is like, oh my gosh, Dr. Tosin, how about if they say this? How about if they... I'll tell you why I don't get nervous ever. Because, number one, everybody always answers it differently. That's number one. Number two, it is their experience and their reality. And then number three, right or wrong, I always find that sometimes looking at the things that you could improve gives you really good opportunity to make impact and make a difference. So I appreciate that for the Chazes of the world. You don't receive that question negatively, as if I'm asking you to run down your institution and talk about all the bad things and blah, blah, blah. No, you take it as, okay, what could we do a little bit differently? And then you put the onus on the students. So, Chaz, I gave a PSA earlier on. It's your turn to give a PSA on how students also should be showing up at these campuses in order to walk away with the best, both social and academically healthy experiences. So I'm going to give you a countdown for you to do your PSA. Are you ready?
Yes.
In 3, 2, PSA.
PSA is, there's two of them. So 1, be your most authentic self. And 2, be in the mindset to serve, not to be served. And that's everything.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Be in the mindset to serve and not just to be served. So you might have thought that I forgot, and I didn't.
Oh.
You will... He's like, oh wow, what is she about to say? I didn't forget, because I cheat. I write it all down. So if you recall, I asked you during the rapid fire segment, what would you have told your roommate but didn't? And you went back to your first summer and you said what you'd have told your roommate is, believe in me the first time, or believe me the first time. And I said, there's got to be a backstory to this. And if it's not too personal, I'd love to hear the backstory.
I got you. I won't say any names. But our orientation was about three days, and we had moved in like on a Wednesday, had to be out by like Friday, Saturday, and throughout that time we had class, like we had a lot of stuff going on, picking our classes, mingling, all those different type of things. And by the time it was time to move out, I'm cleaning up my room, and my roommate's like, "Hey Chaz, have you seen two of my things?" And it was pretty much like a belt and a book bag. Mind you, these are very expensive things, so I understand him. I understand the frustration, everything. And he was like, "Have you seen it?" And I'm like, "No." So he leaves and comes back, and he's just like, "Man, you stole it." And I'm very big on, try not to accuse people, especially when you don't know the full story. And I'm just like, no, unfortunately, I don't even know what those things look like. Like, that's not my type of brand. Like, I'm trying to grasp the words to fight for my, innocence in this case. And, he's just like,
your integrity.
My integrity, everything. So he's just, constantly being like, "No, you stole it." Like, we're trying to look for it in my room. I'm like, we can look all day. It's not here. And I won't forget, because obviously I left, and a week later he texts me. He's like, "Hey, I found it." And for me, I'm never one to be like, "I told you so," but I will say, believe me, the first time, okay, because we could have saved all of this. So yes.
I love that. I love that. Believe me the first time. I love that. I love that. I love that. I bet when he sees you now and sees Shazam fans all over the place, he's like, "Oh gosh, what an awkward moment that was for us."
Right.
Chaz, you and I could literally talk all day. I appreciate your energy. I really do. You've made, again, for me doing this by myself today, I even though nobody sees that other people are on the team with me, making me not lose my mind, I don't do this alone. I have a team, a small team, but a team that makes sure things are going smoothly behind the scenes. And I miss them today, because I'm literally, Tosin is running the boards and all of that stuff. Like, ooh, Tosin. So I appreciate you for I think we did good. I think I did good. No glitches.
You did amazing. You did phenomenal. And I want to take this time to give you your flowers, because
I'll take them.
You did this phenomenally. You made me feel so welcome. No glitches, just everything. And I wish you the best.
No glitches,
because I feel like it's needed. There's not a lot of platforms that do this. So yes, I love my HBCU ?
I love you, and I love that. Thank you so much. So Chaz, before we go, is there something, I mean, I listen, I could do 25 more PSAs for Shazam fans, but I'm not going to. But is there something that when we booked you to be on the podcast, you're like, I definitely must say this, or I must share this, and if I failed in bringing it up, please forgive me, but this is your moment to bless the audience with anything that you want to leave them with regards to you and everything about you.
I love that. Thank you for that. I feel like you covered everything, but if I could say two more things, it would be, for me, I'm always going to be chasing my dreams. That's like my trademark. But secondly, is to always be your own fan. Okay. Always be your own fan. It's you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So for the record, I've manifested so many things, and I keep manifesting so many things. I feel in my ever-living being that Chaz and I are going to be at some conference at some point in time in the near future, and he's going to be my hype person, and I'm going to be his hype person, and I will gladly be his hype person. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, I just felt that in this moment. So Chaz, I don't know where, I don't know when, but I look forward to it. I absolutely look forward to it. Chaz, leave our audience, absolutely, leave our audience with one word or short phrase on why you love HBCUs.
I love HBCUs because of their transformative power.
Because I'm not adding anything else to that. Because of their transformative power. Chazriq Clarke, the founder and visionary of Chazam Fans. It is impossible for anybody to watch this episode and not go ahead and like this episode because of you. So I thank you for joining me. And I truly hope that even though I have done this solo today, that I have earned the pleasure of anybody watching to go ahead and subscribe to I Love My HBCU ? Wherever you receive your podcasts. We're going to meet one day soon. Until then, Chaz, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU ? Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.